Hello, this is Derek from One River Tea. Today in this video what we're doing is going out to Tongmuguan. Tongmuguan is the legendary birthplace of black tea not only in China, but in the entire world. And the tea we're looking at today is the Zhengshan Xiaozhong, or Lapsang Souchong. This is traditionally a smoked black tea, and the methodology of smoking is incredibly complex and very traditional. We're so happy we found one of these traditional processing methods, and these people still making it in this traditional way, because it's kind of a dying tea. With the new Xingongyi methods, the new methodologies coming out, it's a lot easier to make unsmoked Lapsang Souchong, and so the amount of people making the smoked stuff are very, very few. And even so, within Tongmuguan, there are only 12 villages that are certified to make this Zhengshan Xiaozhong or Lapsang Souchong in the traditional way. And so this is quite an experience to get out there and to see this processing before it fades away. So let's get out there. Our jumping off point is Wuyi City because Tongmuguan is only about 50 kilometers from the Wuyi Scenic Reserve. As you see here in the background, the Wuyi Mountains, in the foreground, tea fields. This is where a lot of the less expensive Wuyi yanchas come from. This footage was sped up, we weren't driving that fast. This river here is incredibly important for Tongmuguan. Tongmuguan means Tongmu Pass, and it's literally a pass through the mountain ranges that separate Jiangxi and Fujian provinces, and this river is what carves that pass. Tongmuguan Nature Reserve is a restricted area not only for foreigners but also for Chinese people. You can't just get into Tongmuguan. Here's the gatehouse where they check everyone who's entering. They're scanning license plates. There's a guard you have to talk to. Fortunately, Bebe, our host, is actually one of the heads of the Masu Village committee, and so she comes and goes very frequently, and as you can see, she just shouts out Masu where we're going, and the guards let us pass.
Masu 的
See, that wasn't so hard, right? But it would have been impossible if we didn't come with somebody who is from the village. As you can see, it's the rainy season, and so it is going to be a climb to the Masu Village. The Masu Village is located 1,200 meters above where we are right now, and so we're going to ride a lot of muddy roads, switchbacking up the mountain. So let's get to it. After nearly an hour of roads like this, I'm realizing why this area is so pristine, why this tea is so magnificent, because this is a path I don't want to take ever again. It's a trek. But as with most things, after the struggle comes the reward. Masu Village. In many regards, Masu feels like a village lost to time. The roads that lead into this village were only completed in the late 80s, and so before that, all passage was through on foot. And so it's really remarkable to see such an untouched wilderness, such untouched houses, and such a different style of life up here. Here's our first view of a Qing Lo, the iconic wooden houses of Tongmuguan made exclusively for smoking the black tea. Alright, let's get out for a closer look. It's really difficult to explain how beautiful everything is up here. We're so isolated, we're at high elevation, mist is coming in through the mountains. Everywhere you look, there are people picking tea, talking and laughing. It just feels like a painting. It feels like something outside of this world. These old red tea bushes. I've never seen red tea bushes this old, this tall. Hello, hello, this is Derek from One River Tea. Here I am back in Masu Village in Tongmuguan. It's a rainy day today. What we're doing here is we're looking at the production of the traditional smoked Lapsang Souchong or Zhengshan Xiaozhong. This is when they do the withering process and the oxidization process all in a qinglo, which is this wooden building where they're using pine smoke to fill the entire building up with smoke. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at that and figure out exactly how this iconic tea becomes so imbued with the smoke filled. It's a rainy day today, and so production is a little slow. Here we are at the very tail end of production, maybe 3-4 more days left of picking and processing. It's May 18th, and we only have just a little bit of time left in this production season. Immediately after picking, the tea is weighed and then brought to a qinglo. On the second floor, this is where they wither the tea down with heat and a little bit of smoke. The traditional processing of this iconic tea almost entirely happens within a qinglo. This is that wooden building iconic to this region. As you can see, there are 3 floors here, a top floor, a first floor, and this sub-cellar. This sub-cellar is key to the organization of the qinglo. This is where you burn your pine smoke. And the pine smoke rises up through vents in the floor to fill the entire building with smoke. The first floor is where they actually do the final smoking and final drying of the tea. If you look closely, you can see the bricks laid out in just such a way to allow smoke, but no flame through. And so, as the fire burns, the heat rises, the steam rises, and this is the second floor. This is where they place all of the fresh tea that was just picked today, and this is where it withers down. Sometimes it takes a matter of hours, sometimes if the weather's not right, it could take over a day to wither down enough to be rolled. Recently, the rain has been coming in so hard that it's taking a little longer. As mentioned, this is the rolling machine. This is where the tea leaves, after they're withered down, as you can see, they're a little rubbery, they're able to be bent, the stems can be bent without being snapped. This is the rolling machine where the leaves themselves will be bruised, the cell walls will be broken, and oxidation will begin to occur. As you know, oxidization is the key factor to make black tea, and it's entirely oxidized. This is an interesting part of the process. This is the unblocking machine. After the tea is rolled, it's passed through the unblocking machine, and this helps separate the big clumps and ensures an even oxidization and fermentation process that happens in the next step. After the withering, the rolling, the unblocking comes the oxidization phase. This is key to black tea, and the tea is let sit in these baskets for a few hours in order to fully oxidize. 里面是热吗？
对，你首先
它这个制作热的，等一下更热了，现在磨得很热了。
哦，哇！所以现在发酵了。
现在有点热，
有点热。
越来越热。
哇！ In the middle here, it's already a little warm. The tea is still a little moist, and so inside here, you can see it's slowly starting to ferment. You can see the coloration is still a little green as well. After the tea is judged sufficiently oxidized, after a matter of maybe 4 or 5 hours, it's then spread very thinly on these bamboo baskets and placed into the baking room, which is that first floor of the Qinglo. As you can see, everything they're using that they put in that room is totally covered in soot. And we'll look a little later at the doors to the left of Beibei, and even in the room there where everything is just blackened because of the amount of pine smoke. There is shelving and tea everywhere in this room. As they're a small production household, they really do their best to fill this room entirely with tea before they do the 1 or 2 day long baking process and smoking process. As you can see, there are layer upon layer of tea shelves and tea going in here. Each one of these mats has about 1.5 kilograms on it, which is nearly 3 pounds of tea. And so they do this to keep it very thin so that the smoke can totally permeate it. And check out this wood. It's all just totally blackened by the smoke. Really amazing. One of the most important parts of making this smoked Lapsang Souchong is the fire, is how you're tending the fire, how you're controlling the smoke, and the type of wood you're using. They said they use horsetail pine wood, but not exclusively horsetail pine wood. They use a mixture of different types of wood, maybe throw a few logs of horsetail pine wood in there every so hour to give it that specific Lapsang Souchong smoke taste. Alright, so here we are. We finally got the pine wood in there. It's beginning to smoke. I'm in this small wooden room outside of the brick chamber with the wooden beams that we were in. And it's raining outside right now, and you can smell it. You can hear the fire crackling, and there's just something else in here. The pine smoke is so strong, smells so good. You can imagine all of this smoke going right into the tea, filling up that other room entirely. Really magnificent. Wow. One of the most beautiful things about this tea is even though the smoke aroma lingers throughout every infusion, it doesn't linger in the taste. The taste turns something more minerally and sweet. And it's amazing, this processing that's just totally overflowing with smoke, and yet smoke is not the key element here. It's just a really nice signature touch. Once the fire is properly stoked, the smoke rises through every hole in the roof and just mingles with the mist in the mountains. It's really amazing. Again, this is late May. This is the very end of production season. After this tea is smoked, it'll be rested for a little while and then re-roasted just to make sure that it's totally dry before it's set out on the market. So, thanks again for watching. This is Derek from One River Tea, and if you're interested in these teas, check out the onerivertea.com site. We have a lot of these up on there now. We have, I think, 5 different types of teas there right now, and it's really, really remarkable to be able to get out there and see these teas, see the sources of these teas, and see where they come from. So, thanks for your interest, and cheers, guys. If you like these videos, like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Peace.